you pretty much, you pretty much bust. I'm sorry. Uh,
If I beat you in a food war challenge, will you take back your decision to expel Megami?
so what's up, guys? It's AAA or Alex's Anime Art, and I'm back with another video. And I know you guys are probably wondering where I've been. I'm in college now, and I've pretty much just been trying to figure out and reevaluate the channel, and reevaluate the type of content, and reevaluate my editing and all that stuff, just so I can bring you guys the absolute bangers and the best videos that I can possibly get out. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. And I'm pretty much just gonna give you my thoughts on what I think about a show I've been watching called Food Wars. And yeah, pretty much you're gonna see that I really did enjoy this show. But the main thing is I'm gonna tell you why I enjoyed the show. So I think when I was watching this show, I thought it was it's unconventional. It's super like an unconventional shonen, and that was one of the main points of interest, and that was one of the things that was able to keep my attention. Like I'm watching Food Wars, and I'm thinking like how are they gonna make cooking something like cooking interesting, right? But anime never fails to make almost anything interesting. Like high Q high school boys volleyball, you can make that interesting. Like ping pong, I haven't watched ping pong the animation. I can hardly really speak on it, but you get my point when I'm saying this. Like w- like anime, like pretty much can make almost any topic or anything interesting. I just want to give a shout out to anime in general for just like finding ways to make the things that you wouldn't think of as exciting, just like a very interesting and like fun, entertaining experience. And that's just one of the main reasons why I love the medium so much. But uh, pretty much for a show like Food Wars, I think it does have a thing where it can turn people off from it because it does have a bit of the it has a bit of those etchy or not safe for work moments. I'll put the etchy definition up on as I'm editing. I'll put the etchy definition up for you so you know what that means. But there's just some not safe for work, like I guess what they call it, or what the fan base calls it, is foodgasms. Essentially, I don't know if there's an actual definition for it. I'll put that up too if there is a definition for it. But the food is so good, you pretty much bust. I'm sorry. Uh, oh man, it sounded weird to say that as I was recording, but it's kind of funny and it's kind of stupid, honestly. But yeah, that don't really let that stop you from watching the show. That's not really. I don't really think it's a good reason to not watch it. Just watch it when no one's around, honestly. And I don't. I'm pretty sure this is going to end up as part one for this because Food Wars has 5 plates. I mean, well, it has 5 seasons, but they call their seasons plates. So I'm just gonna call it like plates because that's what they go with, honestly. So this is probably gonna be just part one, and just make sure you guys drop a like on the video, comment. Uh, so I know to just post like a part two if you really want a part two for it. I'll drop a part two covering the fourth and fifth plate, and this will be parts, or I guess seasons 1 through 3 in this uh part one video. So I'm to break down the main plot to you. It's pretty much about a young boy named Soma Yukihira that pretty much wants to beat his father when it comes to cooking. He's never been able to beat him. Was about at
489!
losses, and he really just wants to try and surpass him. And his father ends up sending him to this elite culinary school called Totsuki Academy, And Totsuki Academy is like the creme de la creme, the best of the best, pretty much. And Soma pretty much has to get to the top of this school and like pretty much just beat out all the competition and just like be just get colder at cooking, learn like get better, and also get through the 10%. I'm pretty sure it's something like a 10% graduation rate. Get through that and just don't get kicked out of school. Take dubs. That's pretty much what he has to do, and I think that makes it pretty interesting. And this type of elite school setting, it brings some interesting characters, I think, because they're specialists. Like there are people like Akira Hayama, I believe that's his last name, that specialize what in like spices and aroma. There's a Rio Kuroki, but specializes in like more like seafood type of stuff. Alice Nakari, she's more for gastronomy. Uh, One of the main girls that people know, Erin Nakari, she has the god tongue. She knows what tastes good and she knows what tastes bad. And you can't really tell her no. She's the god tongue, so she's always right, essentially. Um, and speaking of Aaron Inakari, I really do have to give it to the female characters in Food Wars. I really love the female characters in Food Wars, like Megami, like her journey to self confidence and also just being able to express herself in her cooking and just like using her roots, like where she came from, um, what brought her to Totsuki, and like how she developed her cooking, and how she became more confident and just like stand up for herself. Erina, she stopped like getting out of her like elite or like elitist type of thinking and saying like, oh, this is the only right way to cook. My god tongue is absolute. If you don't cook this way and my god tongue doesn't like it, it's trash. It's garbage cooking. And she went through a character development to realize that that's not true. Just because you don't see a certain type of value in someone else's cooking doesn't mean there isn't value in it. And it doesn't mean you're the be all end all when it comes to making delicious food, I think. And her assistant, she had an assistant called Hisako as well. Her character development was great. What she went through is that, like, just because you take an L sometimes, or like your cooking isn't up to par, and you can't win in a food war, that doesn't mean you're like necessarily like a loser, or you're not worthy to be able to talk to someone or be around someone, or it just doesn't mean you're not worthy of something just because you took an L sometimes. Like that happens to the best of us. Like in her character development showed that was interesting. Um oh, and I don't want to leave out this main piece of information about what a food war is. A food war is essentially like
I'm challenging you. If I beat you in a food war challenge, will you take back your decision to expel Megami?
just so I can explain that, not just throw out food war and you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Uh that's essentially what a food war is. And they had to use food wars to even battle the main villain, Azumi, which was like a great villain. Like his philosophies were cool. His philosophies were like his philosophy was essentially we can cook in a safe way. Just follow what I do, and there will be no risk. But the downside is you can't express your creativity through cooking. And the opposite of that, which is Toski, which is like we have all Totsuki, the normal Totsuki, which has all the risk, and you can express yourself through cooking however you feel like, but there's still that risk there. It was like two opposites philosophies fighting against each other. Sama, who wanted to be creative with his cooking, and the Azumi administration, or what was the new Council of Ten called Central. They're like, no, we have a safer way of doing this. This is obviously the better way to advance and hone your cooking skills. But someone's like, hell nah, I want to cook the way I want to cook, and no one's gonna stop me. Which that's something I respect about Soma. But his main philosophy, I really liked his philosophy, and it was a really cool battle to see. And I just think it speaks to like the themes in this show of like expressing yourself. Um, just I guess just standing by what you believe. Soma stands by what he believes, and he inspired the people around him to stand by things that they believe in, or things I guess that they didn't even know that they believed in until Soma actually stepped up and showed them that this should be the way to cook and the way to be free. Um, and yeah, pretty much I was entertained by the show. I love the show a lot. Um, Soma might honestly be one of my top 5 protagonists from Shonen so far. Honestly, I love him. Uh, I don't know if I have a ranking. Oh yeah, drop a comment if you guys want to see a Shonen protagonist tier list. I might do that. That might be fun, honestly, if I do that. Um, but yeah, the show is entertaining. I kept clicking to the next episode. I really, really enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys will watch Food Wars. Uh, at your own discretion, or like be in a safe place when you're watching it, because I told you about the not safe for work stuff, the edgy stuff that can happen, so just be careful with that. But honestly, the show does really have a lot of like value outside of that, and the characters are really good, the themes are really good. It's a really interesting show, despite it just being about cooking. To It's a lot more than that once you get into it, and once you really start to get invested into the show. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Food Wars. Hope you guys like the video. And what else do I have to say? Um, oh yeah, like for part 2, whatever. Any like for part 2, and no, that's really it. That's really it. I think. Yeah, guys. It's AAA or Alex's anime art, and I'm out.
All the confidence you so tirelessly built up. Even if you suffer a loss that tries to wash all that away, or a memory so terrible it feels like you can't recover, you can't quit. You absolutely must open up shop. That's what makes a true chef, after all.
Now listen! That's called motherfucking bars, and you know